Alright, guys, so I gotta stop making dumbass fucking decisions in the middle of the night and just decide to do fucking weird ass films that has nothing to do with the series I'm covering or anything like that. So, Nightmare 4 or 5, sometime tomorrow. But I went on Reddit earlier and a post came up for like the film that you have seen once and you can't watch it again afterwards. And a lot of the answers were The Girl Next Door. Now, I don't remember this movie hardly at all. I know I saw it like a year after it came out, maybe, and I know it's a very disturbing and controversial movie because this is based on actual events. How much of it is, I don't know. I didn't read much into the whole actual case, but I know that the fucking aunt who tortured this poor fucking girl and to her death, basically, got life in prison and then ended up getting paroled like 20, 25 years after that, which is just a fucking travesty. But the only things I really remember is that Blanche Baker's in this, and she gives like a very good performance, if I remember correctly. So let's watch The Girl Next Door from 2007. This will be a great idea. So that guy gets hit by the car in the beginning. That's Mark Margolis, right? Looked just like him. Like the guy who plays Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad, and he's the pawn shop dealer in Requiem for a Dream, and he was the bodyguard hitman in Scarface, and he was the. You can go down the line with like hundreds of movies. This guy's been in everything, but pretty like 100% sure that that was him. So we got David at the beginning here as an older man in his 50s, and he starts telling the story basically, or recollecting on the summer of 1958 when this took place in this movie. I know it took place in like the mid 60s in the actual case. So I guess they changed that. I'm pretty sure they changed all the names of the characters in this. And even like how many kids the aunt had and stuff like that, because I mean, sure, it makes sense, like out of respect for like relatives and the parents if they're still alive and stuff like that. I don't know if they are 65, probably not. But just out of respect, I'm sure that that's why they changed a lot of stuff here. But I'm not going to be looking too much into the case and stuff. Like I'm just taking in what's on the screen, and that's pretty much it. And a small PSA, like this is a very disturbing film. I will still be cracking jokes, like I always do. Like for people who know me, I didn't even have to say that. For people who just stumble upon this video because it is a controversial movie and a lot of people seek out like the disturbing horror movies and stuff like that, know that I'm just bringing levity to a situation, that it's a movie that is filled with just evil fucking sadistic content. Just bringing some levity to brighten the mood every now and then. So, PSA for you. Hey, remember Crayfish? I remember Crayfish. I used to, yeah, I think in elementary school they took us on like a trip to like the beach or who knows, somewhere, and we collected crayfish. And I had one for like a day or two, and then it died. So we got David, who's the main kid here. That we saw the older version of him at the beginning, and Megan is the main girl who ends up being tortured and killed. Well, died because of being so malnourished and tortured and all that stuff. And her younger sister Susan. This kid in the backyard, he's playing with worms and red ants. Like those are fire ants, right? Aren't those like dangerous? Like, can't they like sting you and like leave like very painful like bites on you and like even potentially kill you? So, knowing what this whole family does to this poor girl in this movie, it would have been better if he just got eaten by the fire ants, like right here and there. Ah, the 50s, when you can just leave your doors unlocked with no care in the world. One thing I do remember about this movie is that they do an excellent job of making it like a sadistic coming of age tale. Like, it really brings back a lot of nostalgia of just being a kid in the summertime and stuff. Very effective. So apparently they have a game that they just call The Game. So not only does it look fun, actually, but they also predicted Triple H's career like decades before he was even a thing. Where'd this fucking older guy get a fucking snake? Right off the bat, Blanche Baker is fucking killing it in this role. Jane Mansfield. Alright, so the relationship, the friendship that they form, David and Meg, awesome. Like, so well done. It feels so organic. It really feels like they are becoming close friends. Now, I know in the actual case that the main chick, I forget her actual name, was 16 years old. So, how old is David in this? I'm just curious. Like, looks like maybe 10, 11, 12 ish. Because they kind of hint at like a little bit of romance there. But I mean, if he's like 11, 12, and she's 16, I don't know. I want to know how old he is. Just curious. So Meg tells David that she hasn't been able to eat for 2 days because Aunt Ruth is saying that she's fat and so she can't eat and scarfs down a hot dog. So right off the bat, this woman's a fucking asshole, Aunt Ruth. So Meg tells David that she used to watercolor and like give paintings that she made to her mom. So he says, "Why don't you make one and give one to Aunt Ruth?" And she ends up saying that no, like she would just say I'm stupid and wasting my time. She's definitely not stupid, but what we know about Aunt Ruth so far, she would definitely be wasting her time. Not only is Aunt Ruth a fucking dick to the girls there, but she's a dick to Susie, the younger one who has polio, on top of being an orphan. I feel like I'm watching Annabelle Creation. Which, by the way, I think is the only good movie in the Annabelle franchise. Aw, she made the painting for David. Alright, now I understand that David's a kid. And of course, as a kid, like that age, that's why I also want to know his age too, is of course he's going to be terrified of Aunt Ruth going forward as things start to escalate. Like, he's apparently known her for a decent amount of time because he's friends with the sons. But putting that aside, of him just being a kid and not knowing any better, what a stupid decision to give that painting to Aunt Ruth and say that it was from Meg. I mean, again, he's a kid, so I know he's not thinking that it's going to backfire and Meg's going to get in trouble for it. But still, stupid decision. Man, this version of Stand By Me gets dark real fast. But again, I like the way that they nail the nostalgia of growing up. Like, I used to have it when I was like 10, more than that, like 11, 12 or so. I had a friend whose mom was like, like the cool mom that would just talk to you like you're an adult and let you have a beer now and then. So it's hitting nostalgia strings like pretty hard. Except my friend's mom wasn't a psychopath like this woman. Man, even their fucking sons are all psychopaths. Especially the oldest one. He just yanks Susan out of the fucking closet and throws her on the bed. This poor girl with polio. What an asshole. So this is their aunt. Have they never met this aunt before? Like, do they not know her one bit until the parents died and they had to move in with the aunt? Because how Meg and Susan never picked up on how psychotic this woman is baffles me. Like, it's almost like they never met her, which could have been a thing. Ruth, when she's spanking Susan, and I know back in the 50s, 60s, back then, it was less frowned upon to beat your kids, but first of all, those aren't her kids. That's her nieces. And two, Blanche Baker is just destroying it in this role, and I'm going to keep saying that. And then Ruth has the balls to say to Meg to pick on someone your own size as she's literally beating, spanking Susan, the youngest girl there. It's just irony at its greatest. Good humor ice cream. The fact that this young 16-year-old girl went to a police officer, told him apparently that she's being abused, and her sister, and he does absolutely nothing. And too bad Aunt Ruth's house doesn't conveniently have a stair lift that goes up the stairs for Susan with polio like in Annabelle Creation. David's mom saying to David that he can't sleep over anymore at the house because Meg and Susan are there now. that the young girls are there, and then the father just saying like, so, like, let him sleep there. That's my dad. Like, absolutely. When I was that age. All right. So as disturbing as this scene is in the basement when they have her tied up, and then the oldest son who. Are we sure that Aunt Ruth didn't fuck like Charles Manson, like Bundy and Dahmer, and that's who spawned her three kids? Because they're all absolute psychopaths. But as disturbing as it is, this whole movie is very well shot. The cinematography is very good. Like, it's a good looking film to watch, despite the content in it. And I forgot what else I was going to say. Movie that tells me that this is based on true events involving a 16-year-old girl and then proceeds to show her naked. I'm just not okay with that. But that whole scene in the basement with her tied up and everything and him cutting the clothes off of her and taking the books out from underneath her, very, very tense. Like, disturbing as shit. Awesome tension in that scene. Ad break time, and I've never been so happy for Tubi's ads to just pop up in the middle of a movie. But if you need weather reports, just in case you can't walk outside and look up, use the Fox News weather app. Just during the ad break while the fucking J.G. Wentworth song plays for the millionth time, so I don't have to hear it. There's not much in movies that can disturb me, or definitely not offend me. Like, there's nothing anyone could say to me, unless it's somehow threatening or insulting to my family or my daughter, that would offend me at all. And people who watch my channel should gather that information from me. Like, that's just how I am. I have a dark sense of humor. I don't take anything personally. Is this movie going to be one that I'm not going to be able to watch again? I'm sure no. The only movie that title goes to is Megan is Missing. And that movie gave me a fucking panic attack. That I had to actually, for the first time in my life, stop a movie and compose myself. Just from, because I saw that movie later than it came out. So I was a few years into being a father. And I guess that's why it hit so hard, but fuck that movie. This eldest son has the balls to even ask the rest of the kids, how must it feel to be down there with your arms tied up above your head? Yeah, it feels fucking amazing. And all the acting is great in this. Like, all the child actors and stuff, doing a great job. Nice little attention to detail with the makeup on Meg's face when Ruth's trying to feed her the dry-ass toast. And her mouth is all dehydrated and her lips are chapped and stuff. Nice attention to detail with the makeup. And again, David's a kid. I get it. He'd be terrified to say anything to anybody. Just in fear of what Ruth might do to him. I get it. But there has to be some point where he realizes enough that this is fucking wrong on every level that he has to go tell his parents. Right? Like, I hope so. Damn, that is one big puzzle that Susan's working on. And the piece that she's holding, that she's trying to find where it goes, like, I could see where it goes just through the film, like, just watching the movie. So, why she can't see, like, where that jigsaw piece obviously goes? Maybe it's her polio. And that's a great shot. And, like, a nice little subtle jump scare. Like, that's how you do a jump scare. Like, when David's sneaking down into the basement to check on Meg, then right at a frame behind him, you see cigarette smoke puff, like, towards him. Then it turns around and you see that it's Aunt Ruth. That's an awesome shot. And man, David, you really, like, you really feel the pain he's in. And just the confusion and just being afraid to death of what can he do, like, to help this poor girl. Like, the child actor who played him, I don't think he looks familiar. I don't know anything else he's been in, but damn, he gives an amazing performance too in this movie. Like, can't fault any of the acting in this movie one bit. Can't David just beat this fucking bitch to death? Like, she looks like 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, I'm sure he can just pick a chair up in the basement and just crack it over her head. She might just die from that. And Ruth's whole lines of, if I hear one word down here, I'll kill the both of you. Like, not just punish you, kill you. Dead. Awesome fucking line. Like, again, Blanche is killing it in this fucking movie. Just an ad break FYI, if you didn't know, Domino's supports electric cars. Man, where is a switchblade when you need it when the 877 Cash Now ad comes on? And while I'm at an ad break here, let me just say this. And let me think of the best way to put it so, God forbid, YouTube doesn't get on my ass. If anybody did anything, even remotely close to the tamest stuff we see Ruth and her sons do to Meg in this movie, to my daughter, you think Art the Clown takes glee and his time in his murders? First of all, the kids, alright, they'd end up missing people. Like, immediately. They would be missing children. I don't know where they'd go, but they would be missing. And Aunt Ruth, I would cut her up into little pieces, 1 inch at a time, until it just reaches the point that she dies. And I'd make it so slow, and like, seriously, you have no idea what I would do to this person. Like, even if it wasn't my kid, if it was anyone that I cared about, oh, dude, you have no fucking clue, like, what would happen to this bitch. Imagine being a kid David's age, or any age, but, like, for the purposes of this movie and what actually happened. I don't know if there was a David with what actually happened, but for this movie, imagine being David and having to deal with all this. Like, oh, I can't fucking imagine. Alright, so this cop comes for the second time now, and says to Ruth that one of the other neighborhood kids told his mother that the kids in the house here and some other neighborhood children were beating up on Meg like a punching bag. Now, she said when he first came through the door, when he asked, he's here to see the girls and check on them, that they were out shopping. But the fact that this cop doesn't search the house in any way, shape, or form is a fucking crime, man. With Aunt Ruth having such amazing hearing, which the older son points out earlier, David sure as shit has not really any issues getting down those basement stairs multiple times in this movie. So yeah, I know earlier I mentioned, like, hey, it's the 50s and you never lock your doors and shit because nothing can happen. But if you have a girl held hostage in your basement and is getting brutally raped by one of your sons, I think that's one of those circumstances you should make sure that every fucking lock is locked on your doors. But, oh, dude, this whole scene with her getting raped by the older son, and then just all the dialogue between Ruth and her kids about her saying, the younger kid saying, can I fuck her, and him, and Ruth saying that would be like incest, and just all of that. Excellently delivered, but, oh, it's so fucking unsettling. And now, who are these two random bitches? These two younger girls are there. They don't think there's anything wrong with this either? Like, this is the most evil place in the world. This neighborhood. And Ruth said earlier that she grew up in Haddonfield, apparently. So are we sure that she's not really Michael Myers wearing a Ruth suit and, like, in a little bit she's just gonna, like, go like this and zipper it down. Ruth's suit comes off and it's Michael Myers because she's just fucking pure evil. With the blackest eyes. And by the way, Ruth has an issue with both the sons fucking her, raping Meg, yet has very high morals when it comes to incest, which isn't really incest. The more you know. Alright, the whole scene with Ruth carving I fuck, you can't read like the whole thing that's carved onto her skin. That's fucking hard, man. That was a little hard to get through. Alright, I rewound it against my better judgment just to pause it. It says, I fuck me. Fucking terrible, man. Oh my god, man. I had to pause the movie, but not for any, like, crazy reason, but kind of. Just the whole dialogue when she starts saying, about talking about clitoral circumcision, just implying that might happen right now, that's fucking hard, man. This is fucking getting pretty intense. Oh my god, they actually fucking do it. Jesus Christ, man. Like I said earlier, this woman would be deader than I'd find a hex to put on her to make her immortal just so I can torture her every day of my life for the rest of my life. And then pass that tradition down to my children, have them fucking torture her for the rest of their lives, pass that shit down, and just keep on going for eternity. What an evil fucking woman. Oh, but if you're a safe driver, then I'm sorry, I had to bring some levity to this because this shit was getting real fucking gut wrenching. If you're a safe driver, you might want to go with Allstate because you could save 40% if you never get into accidents. So, just letting you know. And honestly, as much as I and most people hate the ad breaks on Tubi or commercials at all, like in any place, I've never been so happy that Tubi has fucking ads. And they know how to perfectly place them after like the most disturbing, gut-wrenching scenes in this movie. And this basement looks like and is set up like a torture room. So like, did Aunt Ruth know years ahead of time that she was going to have this situation fall into her lap, that she has to take care of her nieces, and that she was going to need this room to torture one of them? Because it sure as shit seems like that. Levity. So now they got David tied up because Ruth knows that he's on Meg's side and trying to save her. So he's tied up in the basement with her. Damn, man, this whole scene with Susan and David, like both talking while Meg's like passed out on the bed, fucking heart wrenching, like heart destroying. Also, a nice shout out to Reddit. Fuck you for bringing that post up because now I'm suffering through this fucking disturbing ass shit. All right, my boy David, man, good thinking with the firecrackers and shit, so the smoke would come underneath the door and lure Ruth down there to beat her over the head, like I mentioned earlier he should do with the crutches. Is she dead? Did they change the whole ending of the story? Because I know in the real case she went to prison, like I said in the beginning. So she looks fucking dead. And then like the cop comes down and checks her pulse, but he doesn't say anything. So is she dead? Because it looks like she's dead. But if she isn't dead, the fact that that cop did not put handcuffs on her immediately would be a travesty. But it looks like she's dead, like I said. And hey, that rhymed. I try not to smoke in my videos, but God, I need fucking nicotine right now. I feel like I need a fucking morphine injection. The whole ending scene here with David and Meg laying together and them having a little conversation right before she dies. Oh, dude, this is fucking heart-wrenching. Alright, and then we just have adult David talking at the end and reflecting on all this, and then he goes to the same creek and stuff that he met Meg in the first place and sees her reflection in it. Good movie, I gotta say. Like, it's very, very well directed, very well shot, great cinematography, great acting by pretty much everybody, but God, fucking Blanche Baker is amazing in this movie. Like, absolutely amazing performance. And I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop picking either terribly bad movies or just depressing as shit ones, because I'm in a happy ass mood now at like 3 in the morning. I gotta stop doing that. But is this like a movie like I mentioned at the beginning? Is this one I would not watch again? No. Like there's only one movie that I will not watch again. I mentioned it earlier. Megan is Missing. You could not pay me to watch that movie again after my experience with it. That means, actually, now that I think about it, you're never going to get a video on this channel about that movie. So here's my review for Megan is Missing. Alright, Megan is Missing. As a father, this movie fucked me up. Fuck you. You couldn't pay me to watch this movie again. The end. So that's Megan is Missing, and that's The Girl Next Door. I really don't have any closing words here because I feel like I just have to, I gotta watch like Curb Your Enthusiasm or South Park or like some shit that'll take me out of this headspace because this is not where I want to be right now. But wherever you guys are from, hope you're having a better day, better day and night than I'm having here after watching this shit. I'm gonna go watch something funny, and then I'll have Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5 up later today. So, take care, guys.